Alright, looks like we're up. Hello, SpeedGaming. Hello, SNES Super Stars. And welcome to, well, I think it's turning into a Link to the Past block for the next, 6 hours, but...
Well, we're going to start this one upside down.
Yeah, I'm Leaf. Joining me here in commentary is Zeruvian. And, in order to get going, I'm going to start the run here, but we're playing a Link to the Past randomizer with inverted all-dungeon key sanity. So, real quick, Roof, would you like to give me a quick countdown for the run?
Yeah, we'll get going here in about 3, 2, 1, blast off.
Excellent, and a couple of different options you can do here, but you might notice this isn't the Light World, and this is the fantastic Dark World theme.
Yeah. That's usually how that works. Well, actually, no, that's not usually how that works. Like I said, we're doing things a little bit upside down here. We are playing a mode of the randomizer that we refer to as inverted. And, Leaf can show you what all that means. We can also tell you what all that means, too.
It does mean we're a little more limited on where we can go in the beginning, of course. That's perfect. Let's go visit my favorite house in the Dark World first, though.
And what house would that be?
Well, we have an archery game. I need money.
Well, money is kind of important, and the ability to play the archery game is, well, it's definitely a skill to have in this mode. Not one you usually see in randomizer standalone.
I'm also not skilled enough to get the 99 bonus.
No, that you leave to that to the experts. But as you can see, we're in the Dark World, which means things are quite dangerous right away here. Most of these enemies are going to do, well, the guards will always do half a heart of damage, doesn't matter what male level you have. But say the little Ropas that run around, or the Hinox right outside of the, what would normally be Link's house in the Light World is the Link's house in the Dark World, which means the bomb shops in the Light World. We'll get to that later. Those can almost kill you in one shot. So, in order to make some of the checks, we need a little bit of cash. Obviously, the chest game is where it would normally be in the Dark World, and the dig game will be where it normally is in the Dark World. So that's why we saw Leaf getting a little bit of cash money here.
And part of what we need money for is one of the most important things we need early to get to access to a lot of checks is bombs. And bombs cost money. There is one more inverted change of note coming up in this shop, and that is this shop usually sells a red potion over on the leftmost slot for emergencies like early Ice Palace dives. That's a blue potion in this mode.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that the game makes available so you don't have to worry about, oh, I don't have the magic to beat Ice Palace. And yes, early Ice Palace can absolutely be a thing in Inverted. And it's in, well, we don't even have a sword yet, but imagine going into Ice Palace, as you see, with green mail and 4 hearts. And, well, it would be one of the all dungeons that Leaf will be chasing down tonight.
Yeah. When we say all dungeons, we mean all dungeons. We have a lamp, we have a sword. Something tells me we're going to go visit Castle Tower here soon.
Well, we're going to need to find our way to the mountain to do that.
Our second notable change is that we spawn here in this dark chapel. Ruby, one thing I will ask you to do is, because of my limited real estate, I don't have the SpeedGaming chat up, so if any questions come through, feel free to answer or field them my way.
Yeah, I can do that. That's the other thing I'm thinking about. That mushroom you can't do anything with, and oh boy, in this mode, that mushroom is not a fun one to turn in.
No, it is not.
So it's inverted, We also have something that says keys on there. I don't think you've seen any keys yet, so we don't know what we're looking at for where the game's telling you to go. Now, do we?
Not yet, but yeah, in addition to all of the items, major items, minor items, we also include all of the dungeon items, like your keys, your maps, your compasses. So yeah, this is a very randomized item pool.
The world is upside down, all the items are randomized, and who would be crazy enough to play this mode of the randomizer, Leaf?
Me. I play this mode a lot.
Alright. They're not lying, by the way. Hey, look, a key. That's how far behind the live stream is to where I'm at.
Oh.
I do find it interesting when you see a key to a dungeon you may or may not want to go into before you have the means to get to that dungeon.
Just gonna play a little safe around this. Gonna play a little safe there. You'll see.
Oh,
Let's say the Poe did not want to play nice today. Where's my glove? The other question to note is, where's my Moon Pearl? That's an item that can be in a lot of places in this mode.
And that's one of the things that makes Inverted interesting. The Moon Pearl can actually land in a few different spots in the Light World, including as simple as the Bottle Merchant in Kakariko Village, as silly as being on the Lazy Kid in Kakariko Village, or as dumb as turning in the purple chest if you have access to a mirror.
I can't think of the last time I've seen a Moon Pearl in purple chest, and that scares me.
I almost hope it didn't get wished into existence just now.
Oh good, I don't think it did.
I take it we're going to see something a little more exciting than cash money.
But
Namely, we probably want to see a glove.
At this point, we actually only have one place to go. And that's a place that, actually, I usually go early, so...
Yeah, what's going on with you tonight? You're doing the upside down mode upside down by not going to Skull Woods early like most players do.
Honestly, it was I forgot to actually click down to start Dark Chapel. And I said just roll with it. Worked out, I got a sword before coming here.
Right, so most of the time, if you see players racing inverted, the first thing they're going to do is go back to Skull Woods and drop in the back and grab a couple bombs, take a death warp, grab a couple more bombs, and make the few checks you can do in the front of Skull Woods with basically nothing, especially in Key Sanity. Not having a small key makes it kind of hard to open doors, and locks you in, of course. That's not a big deal when you just save and quit next door to Dark Chapel anyway.
I was really hoping for an item drop off those berries. Because if the leftmost berry drops an item, it actually holds the slot, the enemy slot that the Wallmaster occupies.
Oh, okay.
Which, if you ever watch me play and you see me leave that item there, that's why.
I'm usually not killing the berries looking for a drop. I'm usually just avoiding them, to be completely honest with you.
Don't touch me. In the doorway? Wow. Okay. Well, hope there's nothing there.
Oh, there's a glove. You like gloves. So, just what we were talking about a moment ago, we have Castle Tower's keys, we have the Moon Pearl, we have a glove, we have a lamp, we have a sword. That is everything we need to get to the Light World.
It is.
Because in this mode, instead of having a little barrier blocking the Castle Tower entrance at the top of Hyrule Castle, the entrance to Castle Tower is at GT.
But Ruby, to get to GT, you need to be able to get to the top of Dark Death Mountain. How do we do that? I didn't pick up the small key. Why didn't I pick up the small key?
Well, haven't you been practicing your parkour?
I mean, I have, but do you see a pair of Pegasus boots on my feet?
That's why you
And
just learned
also,
to.
am I playing in a legal mode where am I playing in a rule set that's legal? Yeah, I have been playing a lot of major
Here,
glitch categories.
let me help you with this. League is participating in the ongoing No Logic tournament that's being hosted here at SpeedGaming. And you have no keys there, friend. Yeah, I'm just now noticing that you came back to Skullwoods. Because the first thing you probably want to find here is a hammer, but you're probably not going to see a hammer this early now. Wouldn't that just be too easy?
I almost feel like I should take a brief moment to set up the screen share in Discord so you can react more in real time.
Maybe. The banter helps, though, too. It's also fun trying to figure out what you're doing. If it wasn't clear, we just kind of scrapped this together in an hour, maybe 2.
Yeah, it's been a setup.
I would normally be asleep right now.
And I appreciate you staying awake to commentate this. Yeah, Ruby's a very good friend of mine, so.
Attached at the hip, you could say. So there's one thing we didn't really get to when we were talking about it. We alluded to it, we didn't actually touch on it. In Inverted, there are a number of geographical changes that allow areas that would otherwise be inaccessible to suddenly become something you can do without the transition between light and dark world. And when we get to the top of the mountain, you're going to see one of the first ones that actually make a difference.
Well, I mean, actually, we saw one of the first ones already on... You'll be seeing here in a moment, I should say. But, we need a way to the mountain.
Yeah, well, if you've imagined that Link's house is the bomb shop and GT is Castle Tower, then you probably figured your way up the mountain is going to be this bumper entrance.
But first, everyone's least favorite part of Inverted. The Old Man Rescue.
Yeah, this is a thing that the game basically forces your hand on.
I've always wondered if maybe you should have Inverted have Death Mountain Descent Cave be your way up, and then put the old man looping between the two side entrances so you could choose when to do it at any time.
I almost wonder what else they could change to make the mountain better in general in Inverted. I suppose we'll just have to wait and show everyone just how convoluted this can get, if the seed allows you to tangle it.
First, cabbages.
Oh, I mean...
Why do we call these boulders cabbages? Because they look like cabbages.
But that's because you're a walking vegetable fox.
Okay. You actually see a glimpse of another change at the top of the mountain here. I could tango with the Lionels, but I think the game has pretty clearly told us it wants us to go up Castle Tower.
And why not, when you have the means to just do everything you can through Castle Tower? And get to where all of the checks are in the light world. I'll give you a quick answer. It's because your hook shot's just in Super Bunny Cave and you're getting burned.
Don't wish that upon me, please.
Still better than hammer and iced tea.
Lionels do 4 hearts of damage. I have 4 heart max, and I really don't want to play with them right now. So, we're just gonna go up the tower. So, let's just face it. 4 heart fighter sword, green mail, Aga Tower is not everyone's cup of tea.
Well, it's not minimum percent, so you're probably safer than some of the more dangerous categories, I would say.
So I guess we can talk about what's coming up with the light world as we're going here through Castle Tower.
Well, first off, you're going to be placed atop the castle when you've cleared the castle tower. Now that's interesting and different because normally you're placed on the top.
I'm scaring myself holding this mirror in my inventory right now.
Yeah, I don't like saying it. Sometimes I watch you play and you have mirror on your Y button, and I just go, please don't accidentally mirror in the back of Misery Miner, or at the top of GT, or just basically anywhere. Well, once you get to Light World, you're going to have the ability to go into the castle. You're going to have the means to go to Kakariko. You can do some fancy stuff with that mirror we'll get to in just a minute. Basically, it's different and inverted. Normally, you're getting to the Dark World to try to access areas with the mirror you couldn't do without access to the Dark World.
Don't have a boomerang. That's pretty key.
Other way around. Yeah, that's... Up here's not exactly fun when you have all the energy type strategies with boomerang or even hook shot when you don't have a boomerang, and suddenly you go, how am I supposed to pick up this key?
Oh, right. So, and if anyone likes playing the minigame, feel free to guess how many times we're going to get blue balls thrown at us by Aghanim.
I have no respect for anyone that says 15. Because that means you just want to watch the world burn?
I mean, if I get a 15 in a marathon run, I'm going to find it hilarious. It would be the most fitting place.
One of these days, our player base for the speedrun are going to be so powerful that they'll get a 15 and still PB in WR.
You hear that, Ari? Man, not a lot to talk about through Castle Tower.
What do you think you're going to do with that mirror once you get to Light World?
I'm going to check Pyramid.
Uh-huh. So, as I was alluding to before we got up here, the mirror normally goes from Dark World to Light World. Well, in this case, it goes from Light World to Dark World.
And that leads to some fun shenanigans.
Yeah, it does give us a few things that are different to do here, and you'll see right away when Aghanim's been dispatched. Leaf is going to take that mirror, and we suddenly have access to East Dark World without the flip roofs, and without the hammer, and without performing a current jump.
If Aga would ever let me out of the fight.
I mean, we did have a 5 blues in chat, so maybe that's been wished into existence as well.
I hate to disappoint you. It's not 5.
It's 6.
It is, in fact, a number greater than 5.
Oh no.
Okay, I'll take it just a moment to clink my sword against this door that is acting like a solid wall.
So where we point out you're playing with a palette shuffle. I guess that does play with things a little bit, because chat's saying, I don't see any blue balls, I see red balls. Because they are in fact red.
I'm sorry, palette shuffle is a thing I tend to play with. How was that legal, mere point, by the way? Wait till you see this one, Roof.
I mean, I'm asking that all the time, and I'm not terribly surprised. Oh, yeah. This is the Ganon's Tower door that Leaf was clinking off of before. Oh, I know what you're about to do. Okay.
Yeah, if anyone has any answers on how that's a legal mere point, please let me know.
Collision is, of course, a suggestion.
I have all people know that.
I mean, once you've played this 30-some-year-old game often enough, you'll also realize that, you know, I think the devs figured that one out as well.
I like having a mirror early in an inverted seed, because that actually does let us showcase a lot of interesting things about the mode. And also makes routing Hyrule Castle several times easier.
Oh yeah, now you're not worried about the the Hyrule Castle key at all. Which it's the same as playing an open without the inverted. The game's still going to ask you to find the sewer key to be able to get all these checks, but you know what? We don't care.
Yeah, there is a very detailed logic through this game. The devs have done a fantastic job of making a good logical basis to help you guide you through the seed. And we will pay attention to the logic, because it will help us solve the seed.
Because this is a little bit different than playing your usual key sanity seed, or you might even see cross keys or something like that, where people are paying attention to where the keys are placed. Inverted does change where things can be in a big and small way all at the same time. So where are you going to go first? Where do most players go first when they're playing Inverted Leaf?
There's a lot of options that people have. I know a lot of people like their early Kakariko, but honestly, we don't have a lot drawing us in the direction of Kakariko Village.
Why not?
Well, I don't have a flute, I don't have a bottle.
Yeah, but you know what you do have?
What do I have?
A mirror.
True. Ooh hoo hoo. Okay. That could lead us somewhere. Also, you'll notice in a minute that I save and quit from the light world, and I end up back on top of Pyramid, which actually can be kind of helpful for routing things.
Yeah, it's the same way in which you would expect in the non-inverted modes, and when you finish off Aghanim 1, you land on the top of the pyramid. Well, since the castle top is in place of the pyramid in this mode, that is where we will spawn if we save and quit in the light world.
I think what we're going to do is make a South Shore run first, see if we can pull a bottle or a flute to make the trip slightly better, and also, LS, find out some information on our crystals. Take a little moment to mark a few things on my personal tracker. So, we're in the light world. We should maybe mention one of the major dungeon accesses that is different in this from Link's Past Randomizer open modes. And that is the fact that we require a book.
Yeah, the Desert Palace entrance. You can't just flute in and mirror back from the mire area now. Because when you mirror in Desert, you end up in mire. The only way into Desert Palace in Inverted is to open the front door with the book. So that's one of those things we'll be looking out for. What else are we looking for, Leaf?
Well, we're going to need basically everything in the video game, because we do need to beat every boss in the game.
So most of those key items you see on the tracker there, the hook shot, both rods, at least one medallion, the hammer, the cane...
Oh, did Duck put the tracker up for us? Duck did put the key item part, at least, so...
I mean, you can only fit so much.
Exactly.
That being said, this being a key sanity mode, you need, in addition to everything, all of the keys necessary to beat dungeons. Now, we did see the Swamp Small Key. That's an important one to find early on, because once we have the flippers, that one door in the front of Swamp can be opened. We need
also
some big keys to finish some of our more key-thirsty dungeons, like your Desert Palace. You need that. Like your Palace of Darkness, your Turtle Rock. Turtle Rock, though, you don't need as many small keys. We'll explain that later.
Yes, we will. I think we'll explain that when we get to the mountain for real.
Yeah, when you can actually do stuff on the mountain, which requires, I don't know, another glove, or a hook shot, or a hammer.
So, we have a few options from an Ice Rod Cave point. You could fake Flipper, but honestly, I'm not as big a fan of a fake Flipper to do like Zora and such, because you have multiple places you would want to land.
You don't
So-
want to beat yourself in a position that you're not going to be able to splash delete or swim back out of. For example, the Hylia Island will have an item that we may or may not want.
So
And
instead,
if you see something and go, "Ooh, boots! I want those," and then suddenly you're saving and quitting because you don't have a choice.
we're going to do the fake flipper like we're playing NMG instead.
Ah, yes, the Whirlpool Fake Flipper, which is also it's a fun one for routing even in other modes as well. Might see casual boots players might take advantage of coming this way, then water walking back out.
We won't need to be coming back for this lumberjack today. Sorry to disappoint everybody.
Well, that's okay. Lumberjack's not what anyone's after here, and you know it.
Oh, I know. Also, it's kind of refreshing to hear the vanilla game audio after all these runs playing with music packs. Pick up a couple of maps here, because, honestly, dungeon prize knowledge is not a bad thing to have. It would help if I paid attention to what maps I just picked up, but luckily we can check that. We have the Tower of Hera map.
Yeah, but luckily we also know what our 2 red crystals are already, thanks to that generous guy in the bomb shop.
He will tell
You
you.
can talk to Hashila.
Yeah, the bomb shop will tell you what prizes you need to get the big red bomb. The ones that in vanilla are Misery Mire and Ice Palace.
Chad is saying WTH is this. Well, this is a link to the past, but as a randomizer, and we're playing a mode called Inverted, where things are, you start in the Dark World, and it's pretty backwards. And yes, Leaf is playing as a custom sprite. Leaf's playing as a Leafeon. There are a handful of custom sprites, and this is one of 1,000,001 different options that you can play with this randomizer.
Ooh, good finds, good finds. What are some of the other items that tend to hide from us in these kinds of 80 keys seeds? I mean, there's always the ever-famous answer, of course. Because who wants to find an ice rod?
I don't want to say the ice rod. Don't make me say the ice rod ever again. How about hookshot? We'll go with hookshot.
I like Mire Medallion as an answer.
I like the GT Big Key as an answer, because we are indeed playing with the key sanity that's going to make everything uncomfortable.
Ooh, okay. Good finds. Good key to find. Oh, okay. So, earlier we found a bow in Zelda's Cell, which we now know one thing about.
And what would that be?
That's the second bow in logic.
Yeah, because we don't have the key to, technically we don't have the key to go get that bow yet.
We're getting some pod keys coming up. So, Palace of Darkness has 6 keys and a fairly lengthy set of logic that has to do with how many keys you can waste by using them poorly. Because one thing about key sanity is the game always expects you to use keys in the least efficient way possible.
That's one way of guaranteeing that the game is beatable, even if you're throwing the keys at doors that you don't necessarily need to open before opening other doors first.
And let's talk about Invert for a moment, though.
Right, because we're about to leave Kakariko going south. There's a couple different things that can happen here, and one of them is, well, we got the Smith house hanging out over here in Kak, and we can actually take the Smith home already with that mirror if we really wanted to. Do you really want to, Leaf?
I've set it up so I can actually route this in efficiently.
So instead of walking him all the way through, we just mirror by the library, pick up the smith, grab a mirror portal back in, and now you don't need myths to do smith chain.
Actually, you don't need...
ahead.
Believe it or not, you don't need myths to do a lot of things in this mode.
Yeah, myths only effectively, like, they can be important, but they don't necessarily give you anything that they hard block, so to speak.
There is one check that is guaranteed logically locked by myths.
Would that be the one we can just tomb raid?
That would be the one we can just tomb raid.
There's going to be another geographical change that we're going to see here as Leaf passes on by the race game and towards... Well, we just left South Shore not too long ago. We're going to head back in that direction here.
For one, I left a floodgate for this.
You sure did, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Take the extra heart there. But yeah, that cave, the cave 45 that has a heart piece in vanilla, you usually have to mirror from the dark world, but we can't do that. We're in the light world to mirror from the light world.
And you might even see on the ground there's a little signature from one of our developers.
Is there a signature? I've actually never paid that much attention to it.
Have you not noticed the VT on the ground right in front of K45?
I didn't. I'll have to look that back later. Yeah, shadows to VTOR.
You're gonna smile. Yeah. The Link to the Past randomizer started a very, very long time ago at the hands of... Well, there were two branches at one point. Desirect had a branch that ran on a different programming language, and VTOR came around, and they merged at one point. We have what we see today. It's a very vast, very robust, and very... The replay value is crazy on A Link to the Past Rando these days, with so many categories and so many ways you can shuffle things around in the game. If it wasn't clear by what we're doing right now, you can do a lot more than just this, and it can make your head hurt. It really can.
It really can. We just passed another ladder. That's always cool.
Yeah, and if you had the book, you could even go read what that says without... Oh, I didn't even notice you picked up the hammer.
That was under the water.
Yes, that's a very soggy hammer. It does give us more to do here, if you would like me to...
We are not doing Hookless Swamp.
No, we're
not yet.
You could, though.
Actually, what I'm looking at is the fact that we have a hammer, a fire rod, the flippers.
Yeah, we could go ahead and do that.
We can dive Ice Palace.
If you really wanted to go do Ice Palace on 8 Hearts Green Mail.
I've done it on lower, and you know it.
You've had Moon Pearl on Cold Stare, and you know it.
I forgot to factor in one set of checks, so we're going to have to slow down just a little bit here. I don't like walking up against cave, but I forgot something. We're still playing inverted.
Right, so you can mirror back to, oh. Oops.
But it will tell us what one of our fetch quests is, and that is this medallion here in Misery Mire, which I will just mark on my tracker, and we'll mention in a minute when you guys catch up.
Mire's so much easier to get to once you have Light World access in this mode, because when you have the mirror, you're not worrying about finding the flute and the mitts, and activating the flute, then getting back to the Dark World and fluting to 6, and remembering not to pick up the rock, because that'll take you to the Light World. Can't stress that enough. The backwards of going from light to dark instead of dark to light.
It takes a lot of getting used to.
Yeah, it takes a while. And some of the mirror points that normally use playing the game as it usually comes are also something to get a lot more used to than you normally think. There's lots that can go wrong.
Speaking of lots that can go wrong, let's go visit Ice Palace.
Don't. Please, don't tell me you're doing Ice Palace already. You are a crazy person.
It's worth noting, logically, we actually can only do about half this dungeon. But one of my rules when I'm playing Rando is, if you can clear a dungeon that you have to do anyways, it's probably worth the time.
Yeah, the speedrun tech you might see from general play also comes into factor in randomizer. We're going to see an old-fashioned Ice Palace bomb jump. We call it old-fashioned in the Rando community because we do have a nice little trick we can use the Kino Samaria to ignore a wall. We're not going to be able to use that tonight. Most of you Rando fans know what we're talking about. Allows you to break ice over your knee.
Actually, the routing in here is not great for this run, but...
No.
Excuse me.
I do not know why you decided to come into Ice Palace this early, but, you know, say I love you.
Like I said, I don't mind a slower dungeon clear when it's required regardless. And sometimes, as a random player, you just learn to make a decision based on what your gut says. And right now, my gut says, go do Ice Palace. My gut also says go do Pod, but... Alright.
We don't have the key tracker on the visible. You don't have the pod big key, do you?
We have 4... Excuse me. Wow, I could not get the lineup today. I think that's the game's way of telling me, move on. Normally, I'm a lot better at that jump, but
yeah,
I'm gonna call it marathon nerves.
I say, don't do it. And here we are doing it. And green mail means you also have fewer opportunities to do this Ice Palace dungeon.
I am so sorry about that.
Leaf, you were a pixel too low on both the attempts I've seen already.
Mm-hmm. I was pixel too high on the last one, for the record.
Yes, you were.
Trust me, I know my lineups.
You learn a lot of lineups when you play game modes that allow you to ignore many things in logic.
Just because I play major glitches doesn't mean that affects all of my play. Unfortunately for my statement, that's actually true. Playing major glitches actually did improve my gameplay significantly.
Yeah, it shows you how you can set up, use different buffers and setups to perform both the glitches that you're trying to perform, and also some of the simple things that you would normally do outside of this. You're going to do catfish from the dark. Very confused.
I didn't have a great way to Light World from there.
Or you don't have the myths.
And I still don't feel like Zora's something to truly worry about. Don't like the lack of keys, of Light World big keys we have. That is something I'm concerned about right now.
I would have to imagine that a lot of your Light World stuff is going to be behind things you haven't already decided to do.
No, really.
I mean, you're literally saying, I don't care to go to... I don't care to go to Palace of Darkness, even though the game is basically screaming...
No, I'm saying I feel like I should be doing Palace of Darkness as well.
Just sitting back and having a good hard think about what the game's asking you to do. Really open your mind a little bit. When you play
that is not a dungeon I like to see on that.
Am I gonna have to hold my breath? Is it Green Pendant Turtle Rock? Don't tell me it's Green Pendant Turtle Rock. I'm gonna have to hold your breath too.
4 in logic pot smalls. I think we should just bite the bullet and do pot. You don't like seeing that the book can be in GT, do you?
No, I don't. I don't think anyone should either.
Leave this right in your spot. One thing we can say for certain, having silver arrows is a great thing early on.
You're gonna abuse the silver arrows all seed long, aren't you?
Wouldn't you?
Good sword.
I mean, the Master Sword takes, I believe, 8 or 10 hits on a Hinox to kill them, and they take 1 silver.
Or, 3 spins.
Then it might be 5 or 6 slashes. I can never remember how many slashes. Honestly, I try to avoid fighting them with anything lower than Master Sword.
I mean... I try not to think about that.
So with 4 pod keys, what is in logic in Palace of Darkness, one might ask? Well, we can get to the back.
Yeah, the 4 is indicating how many keys you're supposed to be able to spend without getting blocked from, opening every door. So, if you're going to open every door getting to the back, then you should have 4 keys to open each door. But to get everywhere in the dungeon, you need to have all 6 keys. Which is why they consider all these checks that we're going to walk past here, normally what would be the big key chest, the harmless heckway, we could call it, and the Helmets Arcane boss will all expect you to have all the keys to be able to open every door. And therefore we tend to skip most of them. Keyword is most here.
But also, knowing your key logic can let you make decisions on what you think can be important, such as if anything useful is in the harmless chest or the vanilla big key chest. And also, one thing that really is beneficial to know in Key Sanity is know your bomb jumps.
Namely the affectionately known hammer jump that allows you to get to the big chest of the dungeon, where you'll see most NMG players, or speedrunners, however else you'd like to describe that, go ahead and save a key in the randomizer by performing what would be part of the speedrun.
I'm going to make a decision here, though.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the fact that I have 4 keys. I don't have a big key. I'll have to come back here later to clear Eastern anyways. We're going to open all the doors.
You're going to open all the doors and hope to get another key somewhere. That's a spicy call. But, we are playing all dungeons. So the likelihood of not seeing another key is pretty slim.
You're just hoping it's not in GT.
Yeah, because this was a pendant, right? Or you don't even know.
We don't know. You see, one of the rando quality of life is, you'll notice in some dungeons, you can look in the top left. Actually, I know that one of them will be, once I mirror back and go to Eastern, because I'm here, I'll probably dive there anyways. You'll notice a letter in the top left corner. And that will indicate what the prize is of the dungeon you're in. Because the Rando devs have come up with some really good quality of life, haven't they, Roof?
Yeah, over the years we've gone from you could find all 3 shields in the back of Hyrule Castle to, well, you can actually find any number of any item if you really want the game to be able to do that, which is kind of neat. But also, they can come in, your inventory as you start. They can be hinted to by tiles on the walls that would otherwise be Sahasrahla telling you stuff. You
That
can
is
see
not a
what your
saying we have on.
dungeons are.
I'll admit, I did give a brief consideration to playing this with as a starting boots because the routing actually does change some. I decided let's showcase traditional here.
Yeah, you can start with boots in a lot of ways. There are ways that the developers are trying to put starting items in entrance randomizer. There's a branch currently working on that, and that, I tell you, that changes things up quite a bit too.
I did take a brief moment while I was autopilot walking through, noticing comment on my select buffer during that hammer jump. That's actually a case of I learned a new lineup recently. It works for both pod in its normal state and in cave state like I would deal with in no logic. So I've been trying to stay in practice with that more than a start menu lineup.
There's many different ways to learn that too. Now, you picked up myths, and I missed it at some point?
They were in Baxaw.
Oh, okay. So, what does that do for us? Well, normally, they only hard block one check, but one pair of golden gloves can give us the rest of the entire mountain.
Yeah, I know.
I know you know that, but I don't know if our audience knows that.
It's a little concerning that the mountain is open to me, actually.
Yeah, and inverted, the Dark Mountain's open with the pyramids. Since we have the Dark Mountain open already, those myths actually give you the Light Mountain, and Tower of Hera requires you to be able to get to the Light Mountain with the hammer.
To think that
which we will demonstrate soon, I'm sure, because I think you have that big key.
I do, in fact, have that big key. Enemies are doing great jobs getting in the way today. I'm thinking we're going to be going back to... the mountain here shortly. I actually should not save and quit quite yet. Because, you ever save and quit after killing Aga?
Yeah, the vanilla game behavior is to put you in the world that you saved and quit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you forget that for just a brief moment, like we all do?
It's easy to forget, let's be completely honest here. At least I remember before hitting the save and quit button.
Yeah, because if you're post-Aghanim world state, even in inverted, if you try to spawn in the light world after having defeated Aga, you don't get a spawn selection. It just puts you on top of the castle.
I'm looking at my keys, and we have a few other options that involve dungeons. We can clear Skull Woods fully.
I like this better.
We can partially clear Thieves Town and isolate a single check. I'm not feeling up to doing the Thieves Town Big Chest Fade yet.
I still like this better. I think showing this off because you're showing off inverted is a fun thing to do. And so that everyone can hate the inverted mountain. Just as we do.
I love inverted. I do not like clearing the inverted mountain.
I don't know of a runner that does for this game.
So you might remember on Light Death Mountain in a normal run, there's a turtle rock that you have to mirror on take the portal to get to the top of. And you might be asking, how do you get up there in inverted?
Well, the answer is simple, my friends. Like any other turtle, you can just climb on its shell. Why can't you do that in the vanilla game? That would make too much sense.
another notable change is Mimic Cave. Normally you get there in vanilla game by going through Turtle Rock and mirroring from the ledge. We don't do that here. We just jump down to the ledge. It's more fun that way.
Is it?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. There's usually 3 drop downs there. There's 4, so we can talk about doing Mimic Cave right now. What else can you do from here?
Well, you can drop down the left side and do Spiral Cave like you could in vanilla. Or you can drop down the middle, and there's that fairy cave there on the middle ledge.
Yeah, but this is the light world. Isn't there something there in the dark world that you could take advantage of right now?
You could, in fact, go visit Turtle Rock's laser bridge.
And that's why I say keys are a suggestion in inverted for Turtle Rock. They might tell you something. You might not need any more than one.
Beef. However, first, before we do any more dropping of ledges and such, you know what I think we'll do first?
Probably clear Tower of Hera now that we have all of the means to do so.
You notice that Hera small too?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it.
Got both fire sources. Nobody likes the Hera small.
You know what people like less than the Hera small?
I'm dying to hear it.
Dead rocks.
Oh. I mean, I died to hear it, obviously. Does dead rocks? No?
Bam.
The only way to get to Tower of Hera is by getting access to this light mountain and taking the hammer to those stumps there. You can't just climb up because there's no staircase. You can't just mirror from the Dark World because that's not how that works. So if the game's telling you to go to Tower of Hera, you might as well just go to Tower of Hera. Oh yeah, there's that geographical change that we talked about earlier. That's one less thing to have to worry about finding the GT big key there, but you do need to come from behind. You can't just mirror to the top of it. So they opened it up so you could just walk up like it's a plateau. Raise a bit of earth. Things slowly coming together on this one, Leaf.
Slowly.
What are you most worried about right now?
The ice rod.
I mean, that's what most people are worried about. You're not worried about the GT big key because you already have it. I might be worried about the boots because they could block something, but also because you want to go fast. I mean, you've got 2 medallions missing too right now, so that's a thing.
I mean, only one medallion actually matters.
True, because you don't necessarily need to open the front door to Turtle Rock as we discussed earlier. You still need the cane to finish it, though.
I also still need some keys.
You do need some keys. You need
like we've said, we've hinted that you can't see my key tracker. I don't have any TR keys.
You can still steal one. You can just steal the Poke Key. That's fine.
You can.
No one would stop you. But you need the cane to do that. Well, maybe you don't. Not with the hook shot.
And I think it's time to show off a minor glitch. What do you think?
Are you about to fall up Tower of Hera?
I am. Wouldn't you? If you decide to walk out with the book and get your hook shot off the tablet.
Someone in chat says, "I can't believe you checked that before going to before going up Tower of Hera the normal way."
I'll be honest, I was seeing if it was boots.
I mean, doesn't make it any better, to be honest with you. Is it because I was talking about boots when you pulled the book? Alright, so we're just getting past the early parts of this seed now. That's where things start to get a little bit more interesting, because as we find more and more to do, there's going to be more and more made available to us.
Not having to deal with Fighter Sword Moldorm is one of the best parts of Rando. Let's be completely honest here.
What do you mean? You only have to deal with them once in the speedrun.
And Tower of Hera is a huge reset point.
I would have thought Landmo more than Hera, but you know.
I mean, the Light World's the worst part of the NMG speedrun. Nope.
All things considered, that Moldorm was actually pretty tame. Didn't run you off or anything.
It's kind of nice when he behaves.
It's funny, that's the words you see in chat are well-behaved Moldorm. So we got a hook shot. That means you're going back to Hookshot Cave, I would imagine.
Soon.
That also gives you a couple other things you can do over here.
Do you know what else that lets us do?
Oh, you have the Turtle Rock Big Key, don't you? I was pretty sure that was early.
I actually don't have Turtle Big Key.
Oh. Maybe I'm thinking of something else I was doing.
No, what I'm thinking of is, excuse me.
What are you doing?
Trying not to get killed.
I don't know why you're even in here right now.
As you said, you can steal the TR small key off Pokies, and I would rather not have to go on TR small key go mode.
Yeah, but there's 4 keys out there. I get to pick on Leaf's routing decisions every once in a while.
We've been playing this game together for 4 years.
Like I said, only once in a while. I'm surprised you did this before Hookshot Cave, Laser Bridge.
I'm picking up Hookshot Cave on the way back up.
Oh, I get that.
If you ever see me pick up a bomb and walk over portals, because I don't want the triggered portal from the side I'm entering. Spiral Cave.
Also known as Resident Sleeper Cave.
I've not heard anyone call it that in a while.
Yeah, you fall asleep while you're walking through it because you don't have boots. So, what else can we talk about? That is there anything else we haven't seen that Inverted really throws at us here?
Let's see. We've introduced Aga Tower. We've introduced... I want to say we've introduced most of the geographical changes. We have not introduced one of them, and that is Graveyard Ledge.
Ah, well, you haven't gone to Back to Escape either.
I'm aware.
That's silly. Most people do that early.
It's hard to route some things in cleanly in this mode, and your light world routing is a major part of being a strong inverted runner. There's also a
That's-
lot less of a defined meta for what? Okay, there's a lot less of a defined meta for routing the light world.
Because most of your checks in the dark world are either going to lock each other or just lock everything. And then once you get to the light world, most players are going to go straight to Kakariko because that's where a lot of the chests are.
So, Ruve, we're an hour in.
We are.
How do I not have a bottle? Also, laugh in a minute when you catch up to me on Lacebridge.
Oh. Oh. Well, we just found you get both swords, so... How do you not have a bottle? Obviously you did not prepare yourself a beverage to have while playing this game, so you should have grabbed a bottle out of your fridge.
Also, as we are wont to do in this, happy 1 hour.
Oh. I hate everything about that.
Just hit the ice rod.
Mm-hmm.
We'll save there, and... it has been a minute since we've cleared a dungeon. So I think we're going to clear a dungeon. And you know what dungeon I feel like clearing?
I'm gonna guess Skullwoods.
Incorrect.
I thought so.
I decide I want to clear your favorite dungeon.
But leave. My favorite dungeon is bed.
Isn't that the end goal?
We don't have enough keys for that yet. Swamp Palace is the other big set of checks in a key sanity mode.
Also, it's the biggest point of muscle memory.
Oh, did you do the thing?
Would it be the first time you've seen me do it? So item-wise, we're actually looking like... In terms of items, we actually only need 2 more items, theoretically.
Yeah, we need the Bombos Medallion and the Keen of Samaria are the bare minimum to be able to complete this game.
And keys.
Well, I said the bare minimum. The keys can just come incidentally.
We are missing 3 big keys. So... Because we need a big key to get into Eastern Palace. We need a big key to clear Desert Palace. And, pick up the key. We need a big key for Turtle Rock. And hey, it's time for more minor glitches.
I don't know. This one doesn't seem very minor to me.
Shush. It's a minor glitch.
It's considered a minor glitch, is what we should say. The speedrun community does not like things that break things quite like this one does.
Yeah. There was some controversy over this, and we're not going to go into it. But we will shout out the runner Specs, who found this trick. Bomb.
There's another one you can do in here. I don't think that one's smiled upon either.
I'm
There's
off.
The joke where people used to say, "Oh no, you flooded the key. Whatever is going to happen now?" Well, now no one's surprised by that at all.
I remember those jokes.
Remember where they used to be funny?
No?
Oh.
I don't know why my diver down was off today, but
I'm not sure what I just
I'm-
witnessed there either.
I'm wondering if I had a altitude variable off.
Well, there's one where you literally just walk clipped into the barrier, which I did not expect happen.
It's okay, we have an extra key anyways.
Yeah, because you actually took the key before doing this. You took the key that normally opens that first door. That you have cast cheaty face in attack mode.
Cast cheaty face in attack mode.
Yeah, it's from my favorite children's trading card game, Pokemon. All of that is newer than the Super Nintendo. How dare I?
Honestly, I kind of wish I had my face cam on, because I'm making some glorious faces in this right now. And not at the game, mostly at you.
I'm surprised. Surprised that you would make faces at me, and not at this seed.
I mean, the seed is just being a rando seed. We've played enough of them that it can... It very rarely surprises me at this point, I should say.
How many figures would you say the average multi-year randomizer participant plays in total game seeds?
I would like to not answer this question.
How many figures? How many place values?
Instead, let's return to diver down discussions.
About how this is also not a trick that they would like you to use in the NMG speedrun?
But it is a fantastic tool in randomizer.
It sure is. Makes Swamp Palace just a little bit faster, a little bit less painful.
I'm thinking we may have to start considering going into Lake Hylia.
I was surprised that you had decided to go to Catfish from the Dark World earlier.
I had my reasons. I don't remember what they were, but I had them.
It would have been a good time to do the Lake Hylia checks. You get to go back into Ice Palace later too. So, at that point, it'll probably be easier to clear Ice Palace than it was the first time you were there.
I mean, we cleared
It
easier
already
now.
is. You already have twice the health pool thanks to the blue
Twice the
Mountain
health pool, twice the swords.
twice the magic with the half magic found TR. But no bottles. Still no
I'm-
bottles.
A little surprised at the lack of bottles. You are right.
It's a weird one because bottles literally only block, again, one check. One item you can pick up with a bottle. They're a nice little safety valve to have if you need a refill of health, magic, or both. Or, a try again fairy.
Or an entire hive of bees to throw at Ganon.
I didn't know you could weaponize bees.
That was a crystal. I think we're going to Ice Palace.
I mean, when you get that, that seems about right to me. So once again, you're going to be asked to do the bomb jump.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Except
the one that you're not going to be
one tiny
doing
thing.
because you no longer need to worry about walls, apparently. We were just talking about that not too long ago, so let's put it to action and prove what we're talking about first. Did you know the Cane of Samaria is one of the most broken items in the original release of A Link to the Past?
Just gotta get the right pixel. And then move one pixel, and then walk into a wall.
Into a wall or through the wall?
I mean, can you go through a wall without going into it first?
And that's why we call it Icebreaker, because it breaks the ice. Palace.
It really cleans up the route in this dungeon.
Saves a ton of time. And it's why most players like to wait until you have the red cane before coming in here. What should I have? I don't. You have the Ice Palace big key, right?
We do. Yes.
Okay. I was like, you didn't flip the switch, and that's
That
a
was
dangerous proposition.
That was the first big key we found in the seat.
Man, I'm just gonna tell you that was over an hour ago.
I know. We actually might have dungeon prize knowledge by now.
You know what the joke is when you say that?
With all dungeon keys sandy, do you know what, there's one other... We talked about go mode in Rando. When you have all tools you need to complete the seed. Would you flip the switch, please? But in 80 keys, there's kind of a second mode runners think about. And that is... Can I get to GT? Because the densest place in the game, by far, is Ganon's Tower.
The total of 27 items to be grabbed between the basement and the climb, and of course the dungeon, being a dungeon, is required to be completed. You don't need anything more than the 7 crystals to get in. So if you don't have everything to beat those 3 pendants, there's a non-zero chance that something's in Ganon's Tower that you need to pick up.
That said, that's still a little bit of ways out. At the very least, we need the Eastern Palace Big Key.
Yeah, and that could be in a number of places too, especially now that you have the means to go into, and I believe clear, Misery Mire.
We can full clear Mire.
And,
In logic.
Uh-huh. And there is also a Desert Palace you can go into.
But not clear.
Well, you could do 3 of the checks in Desert.
Also, can we talk about the French vanilla armor upgrade?
No, we don't
Okay.
talk about about items being roughly where they're supposed to be.
Okay,
That's not how
then we won't.
randomizer works. Game, I thought this was randomizer. Why are you giving me the big key to this dungeon in its original location, in its dungeon? It's something that you hear probably once a day from people.
Okay, we actually have dungeon prize knowledge. And we still don't have a bottle. Honestly, there are 4 of them behind the pool. Where are they? That's actually a concern to me, because I do like having a safety every now and then. They call it the potion of confidence, you know.
Better a potion of confidence than a potion of cockiness.
But Hobo is one of those checks where, when do you route this in?
Well, normally you would mirror back in the Dark World to, I've made this joke already. This
We've
is not a
made
fun
that-
check. This is no better to route in than that mushroom.
Or the entire North Dark World.
Or the entire North Light World in this case, because you still haven't done that.
I'm aware. It's on my mind. It's going to be really funny when the boots are up there, isn't it?
No, not really. It's
Why do I open my mouth?
silly. You know, if this was a race...
I could have had those an hour ago.
Yeah? And all you had to do was just ignore the logic.
I guess let's go show off a trick that I don't have to do, shall we?
I'm afraid to know, to be completely honest with you.
Actually, what we're going to do is a little bit slow. We're going to show off some tricks and pick up a couple of checks along the way. But, there's a friend that is one of the other checks, now hard locked by the hammer.
Yes. And are you going to pay this friend a visit, then?
I believe so. We have an easy magic refill because we did just pick up a green potion. It also means that I don't have to worry too much about turning in the mushroom.
Yeah, Leaf is going to ignore the requirement for a magic powder item to be in the inventory and ignore the fact that the game very much has a broken item in our inventory in the form of a red curvy stick. And we're gonna get this half magic check out of the way without the powder necessary to do it. And then hopefully do Northlight World, question mark?
Shortly.
Got dungeons to clean up first.
I'm going to make the quick gamble that we can find the key to Thieves' Town by doing Northlight World. Because honestly, I really don't want to go back to Thieves' Town Big Chest today.
Gambling does not like you.
Gambling, I'm in. I've already got one bad return trip hanging over me in the form of... What is it? Swamp Palace Big Chest is out there.
Oh, we don't talk about that chest. That doesn't exist. It's not a big key you want to see, that Swamp Palace big key. Especially not if it's super late game. There are two dungeons that do not require the big key to actually get to their boss. Swamp Palace is one, Skull Woods is the other.
Also, we mentioned a trick called Tomb Raider that I honestly do not have to do.
No, you don't need to do it. The myths block exactly that one check. And, well, we have the myths, so we're not going to be forced into making that move today.
But you know what? You know what there is about it? The trick is cool. Let's see, it's... These Poes are getting in the way.
I think that's what a lot of enemies in this game are supposed to do.
It's a lot more useful. This is like the only mode where it can be useful, because you can break into this King's Tomb early if you have access to it, but also it's actually kind of a deep buried check to have to do. Because you need the mitt and the boots to actually get in. We can actually clear a lot of dungeons now, though.
Oh yeah, you've got the means to do pretty much everything except for
Eastern Desert
Eastern. Yeah, well, yeah, I guess the 3 big keys you're looking for now.
Mm-hmm.
Chat is denouncing your most recent attempt at grave robbing.
I'm trying to think if there's anything that can be on pedestal. There is a technicality that the Eastern Palace at Big Key can be on pedestal right now.
There's one way to find out for sure, though.
There is, and honestly, given that we want to go to Moth here anyways, Moth is not in logic. We need one more small key.
Doesn't matter.
But... and it's this spot?
See, the last trick to learning inverted is, well, you gotta learn how to figure out, okay, if I was coming here from the Dark World, where do I need to stand to come back without bonking my mirror?
Well, who mirrors from Skull Woods with the spine there?
Not many. Chat's asking if we know where the flute is. We don't. We also don't necessarily need the flute. Flute's nice for fast traveling over to the Misery Mire area or the mountain, but as we demonstrated earlier, Leaf doesn't need the flute to get to Misery Mire. We can just mirror back there from the Light World.
Mm-hmm. Can I just say it's kind of nice to do Moth heal and inverted with more than one sword for once?
I mean... yes?
How many inverses have we played where Moth is the ideal time in the race to do Moth is early with 5-heart Scream Mail and a Fighter Sword?
I'm not sure if that would be... I would consider that ideal. I would consider that most commonly expected, because the only thing keeping it from happening consistently in this mode is the fact that we're playing with a dungeon item shuffle. You're playing just regular inverted, no starting items, no keys shuffled. The game gives you a sword and a fire rod. It's telling you to go fight Moth, and
I'm convinced that Moth is the reason nobody likes to play plain inverted. Which, honestly, it's fair.
Yeah, but what's worse? Thieves' Town with just a sword, with 3 hearts. Moth with just a sword and a fire rod. Or extremely low percentage Cold Stare.
Cold Stare, easy.
Yeah.
We have cleared Skullwoods, we can clear Eastern. We are actually in GT mode. So, do you like dungeons?
Yeah, I like them. I like all of them. Do you like dungeons?
I do like dungeons. Let's clear some.
Yeah, please do. Clear
Uh,
all of them.
Thieves' Town as a dungeon is not very interesting to talk about. Because frankly, it just doesn't get faster.
You spent so long making Thieves' Town feel like I'm not leaving anything behind that it could only have been faster by skipping the big chest. But now, if you have a desert big key, for example, in the big chest,
I'm vindicated.
perhaps. Chad is suggesting, oh, not Thieves' Town with just sword. Thieves' Town with Samaria burn a hammer. Oh, no. No, 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 no.
Been there.
That,
Died to
we
blind for 30 minutes.
had a Speed Gaming Daily many, many moons ago. This one was on Restream. I was on commentary or tracking, I forget which. And I got to watch,
The definition of insanity.
yes, continuing to bash your head off of the problem until you somehow solve the problem, which in this case for Poor Leaf did not happen.
I was too young to understand how to effectively play the game. This was a long time ago.
Like I said, many moons ago. A few years easy. Right here on the Speed Gaming network of channels, randomizer races, left and right, all kinds of events too for this randomizer.
I mean, in addition to this marathon, we do have tournaments going on.
Yeah, we got the No Lodger tournaments going on. We have the Casual Boots tournament is going on.
So,
Actually, you got something else that will be happening very shortly. Not necessarily on the Speed Gaming network, but if you're a fan of the randomizer and you've been wanting to learn how to play A Link to the Past, the signups and the placement seeds have been ongoing over at Go Mode Podcast for, I believe it's the 5th annual Mentor Tournament.
why
Does
did we
that sound
speak
right?
that into existence? Anyways, yeah, 5th sounds right?
Chat's going to correct me as soon as it rolls by, I'm sure. Is it what I said it was? Is it what I said it was? I'll be so mad. If it is, I believe that means you can light up the go button.
Not until I have a TR big key for one, and no, it wasn't.
It wasn't? Okay.
Also, what is there to know about blind?
Blind has a lot of pun.
And there's something special about blind fight. That's the fact that it's on a script. If you do the same things when fighting blind and not get hit by a fireball in the middle of it, like I just did,
Oh. Yeah, that... You don't just ad-lib on the script here. This isn't a comedy routine. Now, there is a method of fighting blind where you can literally just make the same motions and movements and hit him at the same cadence all 3 cycles of this fight, and you will never die. Ever. Unless you're stuck with a hammer, then you probably die. There's actually ways to do this with the hammer, or with the Samaria. Samaria makes this fight fun, in air quotes.
okay, if you have more than 3 hearts, it actually is fun. And if you have Samaria and boots, it's actually a really fun one to watch. So we're just going to be here clearing a few dungeons because we can clear dungeons. We can get into GT, which means we could actually consider some gambles. Like, we have a very slow check here in Misery Mire. Sometimes you just don't want to have to do. Why do we call it cutscene chest?
Because there's this 14-second cutscene that plays. It was 14 or 18. When you light all 4 torches to get it. And by cutscene, I mean the screen shakes violently and opens up a passage that the game doesn't necessarily allude you to.
I believe there's a hint tile, but the Sahasra alludes to it.
Yes, and I believe it says go to the previous room.
That's a C1 quote.
Oh, right. But if he had said that, it would make perfect sense.
Gonna make the
No, it
play.
says go to the precious room.
That's Super Metroid. Ruby and I play a lot of other randos. Super Metroid was one of them for a while.
Okay, let me fix that for you. Leaf plays a lot of other randomizers, mostly on this console, the Super Nintendo. Fantastic games like Final Fantasies 4 and 6.
4 and 6, don't you mean 2 and 3?
2 and 3? Well, I mean, they were localized in the US as 2 and 3, but they are, for all intents and purposes, 4 and 6 in the series.
See if I can get a little lucky with a Desert Big here. If not, we'll look for it in Mire. The Desert Key came in early, the book came in early. Sometimes that can mean something. And I would still open the path to Desert, even in a full race situation, because if the Desert Big is in Mire, it would let me go into the directly into Desert from Mire. Going into Misery Mire, which, despite the fact that Misery Mire is a terrible, terrible dungeon, it's actually one of my favorites.
It's aesthetically pleasing, and yet just plain not good otherwise. It's not fun to route,
Sorry to
depending
any.
on how many keys you have.
I'm sorry to the speedrunners who just watched that room.
Oh. Was your Mire 2 not a good Mire 2?
I missed. Unfortunately, I actually think we do have to do cutscene chests here.
Yeah, I think
It's in logic.
You have to do it.
And one of them was in Harrow Basement.
Ew. Told you we didn't like that Hera Small. But that Mire 2 is why I don't use Fire Rod in Mire 2. I use Cane. Cane and Sword Beams if I have them.
It's just
One
that
time
Fire Rod is the fastest strat if you get it right. And I'll admit, I've been getting the Mire 2 Fire Rod strat, it feels really good to get. So sometimes you do things for the satisfaction, true?
You do it because it looks cool and it feels good to do.
Why was that required? Logically.
I hate the thought of that. Is it like a pod key?
Worse.
Oh. Oh.
Literally just doing an efficient key sanity full clear route here. Because we need 2 items. Oh, I would like you to laugh at the big chest when we get there.
I'll think about it.
You're gonna laugh. And we're just going to head toward Vitreous. Good one, isn't it?
No, it's an unfunny joke. And
Oh
this
no!
chat is why we were referring to the flute not being something to be looking for to clear the seed. Because, as demonstrated, you don't need the flute to get to Mire. The flute was in Mire. You also find Cane of Samaria in places you wouldn't expect in Turtle Rock.
Cane Crystal Roller, anybody?
I was thinking more along the lines of Cane and Chain Chomp can happen. Yeah, thanks for joining us here on SNES Super Stars at this late night hour. Leaf, trying to finish this one out, is looking for two big keys, the Desert Big Key
Yeah,
and the
attempt.
Turtle Rock Big Key.
I am not consistent at Flute with Spooky. Both Desert and TR Big Keys can be in Ganon's Tower. Vitreous, with my loadout and my skill set, we're just gonna...
I mean, you have silver arrows. Why not use them?
It's not the fastest strat, I know that,
No?
but I'm not good at the Vitreous fight.
It's not the fastest trap, but it is by far the safest.
And that leaves us... I think our next destination should be going toward Eastern and Pod. We have a decision-making pod. Do we want to go to the pod big chest that we left? Do we want to? No. Are we going to?
That's a choice.
Yeah.
Skipping it is a choice. I would say you have to do it.
We are going to do it last, if anything, because we're going to do Eastern first. It's also too late to really go activate the flute. We still have the mushroom we can turn in. But, like we've said, GT's open. There are 27 checks there. You have to kill the wizard.
Yeah, and if you're only looking for a couple big keys... Wait, they're both pendants? Wow. Wait, Desert was the green pendant we knew. I didn't realize TR was a pendant.
Mm-hmm. TR's pendant.
Gross. Especially when it gives you both rods early.
I mean, it gave us one of them on Laser Bridge Roof.
That was relatively early in this seed. So were the boots.
Yeah, we can just run over here. We also have a few checks in Turtle Rock as our next densest play after GT.
Oh yeah, because you have the means to go and do some checks.
We can go in the front door. We can get everything except for the big chest and the boss.
We sure can, because you only need one key from the back door to do everything. Entrance taught me that. But you also have the means to open the front door and go for the middle door and other ways you could tackle Turtle Rock if you so desired.
thinking about it, we will. Part of why we won't do Eastern first here. One, there are 2 easy checks we can look for big keys, and 2, we want to save and quit from the Dark World in this save and quit. And there's a reason for this.
Right, because you want to be able to decide where you're going, and you're probably going to want to go
To Link's house.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have 7 crystals. And you know what that means we have? Both red crystals.
And that means you can go check what's in the Pyramid Fairy entrance before deciding to go right into the castle tower. I mean, the Ganon's tower. That's 2 additional items to look at while you're looking for 2 items. I mean, it could be right there for all you know.
Gotta love having the red cane.
The red cane just breaks things.
I mean, we just used the red cane to flip a switch. Like, you know, the red cane's supposed to. We create a block to press down a switch.
Yeah, breaks switches. It breaks ice palaces.
Breaks door transitions.
It breaks item drops. That's the kind of break you don't want to do.
You know.
There is a way that you can actually delete items for from bosses using the Cane of Samaria. I believe there's actually a glitch category that does that.
There's an NMG category that does that.
An NMG category that does that?
It's low percent.
How do you get the Cane of Samaria to do that?
It uses the concept of Ancilla overload on picking up the item.
Oh, right.
To delete the heart containers, and you finish your low percent run on 3 hearts, Master Sword, Green Man. Doesn't that sound comfortable?
No. It sounds like, what's the word I'm looking for here that you can say without being crass about it?
Sounds painful, doesn't it?
Painful is not strong enough for what I'm trying to say.
I don't think we're going to get strong enough and stay within the limits. So, I would like to be welcome back on SpeedGaming.
I mean, yes.
I'm grateful to SpeedGaming for letting us show us off on a short notice. So,
Yeah, because there are a lot of players in the randomizer community that there are a number of different modes. There's entrance modes. There's glitch modes. There's
we've had a number of
overworld
speedruns of the vanilla game.
Yeah, and not even just in this marathon, but just in general. There's a lot you can do with the randomizer for A Link to the Past. And the one that we feel like doesn't get enough respect is, inverted.
One thing that's great is getting the big bomb to the pyramid is actually a lot easier than in open. Because we can just cross the bridge and mirror in front of the castle, and voila, we're at the pyramid. So going into GT, there are kind of two schools of thought for GT, and if you're playing open, we don't actually have the option I'm going to take for going into GT, normally. Because normally, when you enter GT in an open seed, you have to go up the mountain to get there, and so clearing out the basement first is basically required, because otherwise you have to climb a mountain again to get the rest of the checks. However, when GT is just at top of castle and it will drop you back on top of the castle, you can just start with the required part. Start with what's required, and then go back to and then go back for the potentially unrequired checks if the go mode is just the top tower, right?
Yeah, because there's still items that you can get on your way up the Ganon's Tower climb, and if you're only looking for one thing and it just happens to be there, then why waste your time on the other 23 checks in the basement?
I'll admit, part of my execution failings here is it's late.
It's we're talking about 5 a.m. Eastern time here, so if you're coming in from the other side of the pond, it's really late for me and Leif. We do have another fantastic Link to the Past run coming from a very fantastic fella in Error. He will be giving us Mirror Shield percent after the conclusion of this.
Where's my Mirror Shield?
It's a category that can actually be a lot of fun. It's how fast can you get the Mirror Shield out of Turtle Rock?
I like how fast can you... I like some of those categories that don't require you to beat the game per se. Because I know there's also a cane of burner percent. How fast can you do Spike Cave? That's also a check we haven't done yet, by the way.
We don't think Spike Cave's a thing, right? Spike Cave doesn't exist in this chat.
I don't know. Is a marathon chat?
W. Garrison and I both trading mitts and Spike Cave seeds.
We have our stories to tell about this randomizer.
Almost. Talk about Ganon's Tower. If you've seen it once, you've seen it 100 times.
It is a very high execution area of the game, and watching an elite runner run this is a treat.
Oh yeah. You're also a little more equipped than you usually see in your typical speedrun. 15 hearts, red mail, silver arrows, golden sword.
Half magic.
Yeah.
Alright, at the top of the tower, we have 4 chests. I was just talking about that.
Were you?
Did I just see a comment in SpeedGaming during the explosion of preview of Mirror Shield percent coming up?
Yep, that's exactly what that is. I think that's, you'll see this shiny thing that blocks most of your sprite.
It also blocks lasers.
It's the only thing that blocks lasers, but it doesn't block BMOS lasers.
Which are honestly more annoying than, what is this pattern?
I think it's more Duck, that you were spoiling the fact that Leaf found Mirror Shield before the restream caught up.
Just a bit early. Now, we've opened the hole, but if we tried to drop... I almost want to drop down just to demonstrate that he will tell us the goal. We haven't completed our goal.
I mean, you can, and then you can literally just save quit right back to where you were.
You're right. He will tell us that... I will literally just save and quit the instant he's done talking. As you can see, I will not die unless you complete your goals. I just intentionally let him call me a dingus.
Oh no. You're not supposed to allow that. You don't let Ganon bully you like that. You're supposed to do it to him.
Please do not bully. We do not condone bullying.
Not even evil wizard pigs?
Would you want to be bullied if you were an evil wizard pig?
I mean, I'm trying to bully the world, so I guess it's my comeuppance, right? Yeah, they fixed that for other games in the series, but this is the last game, I believe, where the Beamos can hit through... Sorry, Leaf. I just caught the Desert Big Key in Hope Room.
I need a TR big.
Yeah, but it's still... Oh, well, you found one of them. Yeah, they... Even in Ocarina of Time, I believe, you get a shield that it can block Beamos with the Mirror Shield.
I actually don't think it can, but it doesn't really block lasers. It blocks sunlight.
Hey. Maybe I'm thinking of a different game in the 3D cycle.
Maybe.
I know it does eventually block Beamos Shield. Beamos Shields. Oh my gosh. 4 a.m. anybody? I also noticed you skipped Tile Room.
I will do that last every time.
Yeah, I know.
But we're well on our way to getting done with the seed.
Oh, yeah, all you gotta do now is just rush a couple bosses once you find that last key.
Guess maybe I should hit this button over here.
The one that says go.
Because what do we
Pretty
do
good
now?
button to hit. We go.
Are you aware of the fact that there are probably 3 TR keys in GT?
And yeah, that seems about right to me. I think you only seen the one.
We kind of glossed over one of the overworld changes, and I'll be walking past it in a moment. But that is, we mentioned but floating island exists, and normally you go through Hookshot Cave to get up there.
Oh yeah, you walked onto it. We just didn't mention it at the time. That's one of those added bridges to get across something that otherwise you can't get to. Now, if you really wanted to, for some forsaken reason, you can mirror on floating island to get back to the back of Hookshot Cave. But there's literally no reason to do that in this mode.
A couple of years ago, we had the main tournament here posted on SpeedGaming, and one of the modes was Inverted Key Sanity with a starting flute. And that meant you could actually get, with the right item layout, you could get to the back of Hookshot Cave without a glove. Okay. why do we call the boss Trinix? Because that's the name of the boss.
Oh, is that why? I thought it's because it had 3 necks. Which, honestly, that's kind of rude. You don't call somebody, like, make fun of their anatomy. Oh, look at 3 necks over here. Oh, it's...
We have a question in chat. What are the goals?
The goals for this particular randomizer, Leaf played in all dungeons. We started in the Dark World, hence inverted, with some geographical changes. Thank you to the development team. We had key sanity, so all the dungeon items were shuffled around. And Leaf is just cleaning up the last couple bosses, having already beaten both the Castle Tower and Ganon's Tower. We'll be facing off against Ganon very shortly here.
We just have one last boss to take care of. And
Yeah,
also, I may want to grab an arrow pot while I'm in there.
You might want to. Kind of surprised you didn't grab some while you were going through other places here.
There weren't any convenient arrow pots to pick up along the way.
So I have a question specifically for you here.
Okay.
Did you ever activate your flute?
No.
Okay.
I never went back to the Kakariko area after picking up the flute.
Never had a reason to.
Never had a reason? Or a convenient time.
What does that flute do in Inverted? That's one other thing we can talk about.
Well, in Inverted, in this branch of the randomizer, I can't remember if it's the same in the door branch or the overworld branch, but in this branch, the flute is still activated at the weather vane in Kakariko. But
yeah,
you can't.
It does, you can't use it in the light world.
It takes you around the dark world. The bird is magical and can travel the world with you.
Which is handy in a couple situations, and not so in situations where you're trying to turn in the mushroom.
I think the mushroom is the single worst part of the flute change. Otherwise, it's pretty good. Alright, 16 arrows is a lot better than 6, especially when I want to use a few of them here on Lambo.
You mean people fight Lambo with a bow? I had no idea.
I mean, I'm using much fewer than what you're referencing. And boy, people are going to get treated in a bit when Aerie gets to play, because watching Aerie do Link to the Past is a treat. He ain't one of the best for nothing.
He's going to show you one of the more fun categories.
2 of them, actually, because I believe he's got a run after that, too. But... Alright, and what's great is you can save and quit from the light world directly to the pyramid top.
Oh yeah, it looks like he's doing RMG after that, too.
I have a fairy. This is fine. I do not intend to hook that torch.
No, you can't jinx Aerie. That's not possible. The guy's just too good at gaming.
Also a fantastic guy.
Guy's just too good. Yeah, all you Z3 fans are in for a treat when Eerie takes the screen, because he is going to make this game look very easy.
It's not. He's put out a lot of hard work. Well, Rube, I did put up a 2-hour estimate, did I not?
You sure did, and you know what? You can do faster than that.
Yes, I can. But underestimate is still underestimate.
Underestimate and at short notice, you got to take that when you can, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that would be inverted all dungeons key sanity. Yeah, you got to save those precious seconds and frames anywhere you can, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, big thanks to SpeedGaming for putting on this marathon. Big thanks to SpeedGaming for letting us on at such short notice when they had the opening. And, big thanks to Apathy Duck for getting us set up so quickly.
Duck's saying everyone else needs to make estimates like this. You know, it's hard sometimes to
It is.
Stay on schedule. And I don't mean like the marathon staying on schedule, like, when you have your marathon luck and just, that's never happened before. Also, none of this, oops, I PB'd on stream, now what?
Yeah, we had that before.
Yeah,
I mean, getting a PB on Restream is cool, so let's be honest.
Getting a PB is one thing. Getting a world record, now that's cray. We like that. We like seeing that.
We like seeing these kinds of things, and I believe we've had a few PBs here on the marathon this time.
Yeah, there have been a couple at SNES Super Stars this time around, and here's hoping that while we continue to rotate through the Super Nintendo library for years to come, we see more and more.
We're going to hit this select button real quick just to speed things up, because the credits do show some randomizer-specific facts about the thing. For one, they show our credits. That link should have an N in it at the end, but otherwise, yes. But anything else we want to shout out here, Roof?
But once again, we'll just suggest that if you are interested in this randomizer at all, you could go find the link to the past randomizer Discord or the TARC, I forget what TARC stands for.
The link to the past randomizer racing community.
Ah, yes. Those are two places you can get started, and there's also Go Mode Podcast for a little information on how to get going with the randomizer if you're new to it, if you're interested in things going on around the community, or if you want to try learning how to play and race this randomizer, you can check out their mentor tournament starting up for, I said it was, I believe it's 5th year. I didn't get a confirmation or denial on that. Happening again, actually placement seeds are going on right now, so.
As you can see here, the credits do shout out the devs, who have worked, the Patreon supporters, whoever makes the sprite, which in this case is my good friend Tadriki. And that tells you some stats, which I will actually hit the select button to hopefully slow down a little. Tells you when you found things like your first sword, your boots, your flute, your mirror, how many boss kills you did on each weapon level, some arbitrary numbers that tell you how much damage and magic you've used. And probably most importantly, for the end, it shows you your collection rate and your time. Although in this case, the in-game time compared to the real time. It'll be a couple minutes slower than what it shows on my timer.
You forgot one of the most important things.
Bonk count.
Yeah. Actually, you forgot a really cool thing they added in more recent versions, that there will be 3 random names from the Patreon that will be credited as this scrolls by on every single seed generated. 3 random names for supporters of the randomizer.
And with that, I believe that is what we have for Inverted All Dungeon Key Sanity. Ruby, thank you for staying up late for me.
I hope you have an extra fluffy pillow for me there, Leaf. We're gonna give this over to Error. We're gonna take randomizer out of the equation here, right?
We're going to give it over to Duck. I don't know when Error is quite ready, but we're going to give it over to Duck to get ready for transitioning things over. Again, big thanks to Happy Duck for doing a lot of work for this marathon.
Duck's kind of like shouldering everything right now. Guy's crazy. Make sure you give him some love.
Mm-hmm.